Ross is my name. Ross is my name. Ross is my name. Ross is my name. Ross is my name.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are y'all doing tonight? Welcome to, I guess, the second official episode of TechSpecimen. Still liking that name so far. Onyx, I think you were the one who coined that name, so thank you. I am quite happy with it. And now the person who can't, it's not going to be Onyx, and someone else is going to be like, hey, that's my name. How dare you miscredit it? So today what I wanted to talk about, just a few hours before everybody goes apeshit about a certain political event happening later tonight, whatever side you fall on that, Encourage you to watch it. It's good for democracy, good for the country, etc. Anyways, I wanted to talk about this really nice video put out by Michael Crump. Shoutouts to Michael Crump for making this, because this actually answered a question that I had that I was actually quite concerned about. As you guys know, recent Xbox exploit. You use the GameScript app to mod your Xbox's system OS. However, the game OS, quote unquote, that the games themselves actually run in, has a bit of a different setup that requires a certain game. In this case, Vermintide 2. Now, the problem is, a lot of people, including myself, didn't really have time to get Vermintide 2 installed before GameScript was taken off of the App Store, and before Xbox started removing licenses from people's systems for GameScript. Therefore, we were left with two options. Not get Vermintide, and therefore not get access to the exploit, or buy a disc-based version of Vermintide. Now, the problem is, not a lot of Xbox games actually have all the game data on the disc. So, my concern, which was exacerbated by the fact that I purchased a disc off eBay, so returning it would be fun, was, am I really going to get the full game and be able to play or to run the exploit when it comes out, or am I just going to be stuck with a potentially mediocre game? Well, luckily, Mr. Crump here has answered it. So I'm going to skip forward a little bit. I'm not gonna play a lot of it, but I will show. Here's him opening the disc. Not particularly interesting. But now here's him loading the game into his Xbox. And you can see, there it is, 39.5 gigabytes being installed of the game. And you can even see DLC right there, right off the disc. So this is sort of my encouragement to those of you out there. You have an Xbox One, you got GameScript installed, you didn't get Vermintide 2, or there was some other Warhammer game that was Series X exclusive that could also be used. Go ahead, buy a disc of it. He's even going to show right here him loading the game up, and even if this doesn't end up working, well, I think this game looks pretty damn good. I'm going to be honest. And I looked at the reviews, and I had heard that this game had good reviews, but I'd never played Warhammer before, never really been interested, so I was a little concerned that this wasn't going to be up my alley, but I think this looks pretty good. I don't know about you guys. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. I think it looks like a genuinely good game. Now, one problem with this, though, is if you have to go the disc route, you are completely at the mercy, and I should say we are completely at the mercy, because I'm someone who had to buy the disc, like I said, who is completely at the mercy of the homebrew community able to somehow load a dump tool into memory and then allow you to remove the disc. Because otherwise, if you have a disc-based game you want to back up that isn't Vermintide 2, you're going to have to... well, you're going to be stuck with the Vermintide disc in. So what I'm also curious to hear is if any of you guys think that it's possible, or let me rephrase that. How far do you guys think homebrew is going to get? How far do you think, will be taken in regards to running homebrew on the Xbox? Because obviously on consoles like the Nintendo Switch, you basically have free reign to do whatever. I mean, you can load game card ROMs off of a file, or I don't know, change around the home menu as you see fit. I'm a little bit tired, so can't really come up with too many ideas right now, but at the end of the day, you could theoretically have free reign to, say, put in a game, run an exploit. But hey, we see this on older PlayStation consoles, I believe. You put in the game, you run your exploit, and then you can take the game out and replace it with another game to load that game. And I feel like that's what's going to be necessary for using a disk-based version of Vermintide to actually really do anything. That doesn't mean that this is, say, useless or a waste of time or really anything like that. But it does mean that I question the usefulness of using Vermintide 2 on a disk when you can't swap it out as far as we're concerned. So that's something I would like to see come from whoever is leading development of homebrew tools on the back end, because as far as I'm aware, there is a more thorough exploit that exists on the back end that certain developers do have access to. I might be wrong about that, but that's the consensus I've understood. And so if I'm a homebrew developer, I'm going to want early access to that, especially if I'm making low-level homebrew like a game backup program or a theme changer, the simple basic stuff that people want, not just your standard Doom port or an independent game, that kind of stuff. There's always sort of a short list of items that people look for on a homebrewed console. Those people are going to want this stuff early, and if they're not getting it early, again, it's going to be pretty dry once real exploits start coming out. And I had mentioned when me and Nick had went live talking about the Xbox exploit initially that the proof of concept game script code was, I had compared it to the likes of the rocket payload for the Switch. But I don't know. I would almost take it back a few notches from that, because I feel like what we really need to see is something more visual than numbers. Because at least the rocket payload, we got a cool rocket graphic. We got full text. We've got different keys and such, which I get that isn't necessarily possible on the Xbox. But is there not any way that we could just get some simple program that runs that, say... I'll explain why I just left in a moment. That just shows an Xbox logo with a crack in it or something, so Xbox cracked or whatever. Just something silly, something to ogle at. Anything like that. That would be great. I mean, I'm just kind of rambling here, but I don't know. So what do you guys think? I'm curious if you guys have any wishes to see where this goes. I did also want to I wanted to give some attention to this. I am replying live. Yes. Xbox only. I can't do that. Sorry, Unlock Switch. I wanted to talk about this last night. Didn't find the time to go live. But if you guys are watching right now, because I know you guys watch this, tell me what you want me to talk about. Because if you really want me to talk about something, I'm not opposed. You're gonna have to give me something. I also do need to shout out real quick that yes, Reigns of Onyx was the catalyst for TechSpecimen. So thank you for the name, and thank you for giving me something to talk about, or something to call myself instead of just being like, hi, it's Dead Specimen stealing the channel for a moment. So with that, I don't really have too much more to add, and unless Unlock Switch wants to hurry up a little bit on replying to my question on what he, she, or they might want to talk about, I'm gonna head off. I'm gonna go make some dinner, and like I said, if you guys aren't busy tonight, I'd say watch the presidential debate. Like I said, good for the democracy, good for the probably not the heart of the soul, but still good for democracy. And no, I'm not talking about Helldivers. Now that I'm done with the bad jokes, I'm gonna head out, guys. Have a good day. Have a good night.